Hello, I'm Dionne and welcome to your practice. This is a quick practice for when it's cold outside or inside and you just want to warm up. So we're going to start in downward facing dog. If you need to do anything beforehand to get you warmed up for down dog, then please feel free. Otherwise, come onto hands and knees, tuck the toes, spread out the fingers, make contact with the floor, then lift the knees and push back. Find down dog today, see how it feels for you. And you might feel like taking the dog for a walk, especially if you've just got up or if you're just feeling a bit stiff from sitting all day, depending on what time you're taking this practice. So just like with any shape you're making on the mat or in life, remember that it's adjustable, to listen to your body, to take breaks as and when you need to. And just to remind yourself that every time you show up on the mat, every time you take a practice, every time you approach something, it's always new again. So see if you can look at this practice with new eyes, as if you're doing this for the first time, particularly if this is like your 1000th downward dog. And if it's your first, then hey, you're having an advanced practice today, you're our teacher. So embrace the newness. See if you can bend the knees. Hug the hands towards each other, then press into the heels of your hands and reach your bum even higher up, even further back. Let the head go. And then if it's comfortable for the back of your legs, then just reach the heels towards the ground. If the hamstrings feel a bit tight, then just keep a bend to the knees. Couple more breaths here. Keep hugging the hands towards each other. Spread the fingers, spread the toes, embrace the shape. And then gently bend the knees, look forwards, slowly walk the feet towards your hands. Just take your time with this. So even though this is going to be a warming practice, doesn't mean we need to rush through it. So just take your time. You can have the knees bent here if this feels good. And then just take the hands behind your back, interlace your fingers. And then reach the hands up and over. You can tuck the chin a little bit. And if it's feeling a bit difficult to interlace fingers, if you're feeling a bit tight, you can always just grab a sock or some kind of strap or a belt or a scarf, just to give your shoulders a break. Just find your breath here. So the body naturally knows how to breathe, but sometimes it gets restricted, particularly if we're feeling a bit stressed. So just let the breath do its job. See if you can find ease around the jaw, around the tongue. And you can release the fingers or strap if you're using a strap. My feet are hip width distance apart here because this feels more comfortable for my hips. You're going to bend the knees, spread the toes, and then you're going to come up into chair pose. So take your time, reach the arms up. And if it's feeling a bit challenging here with the arms outstretched, just bend the elbows. So take a kind of medium spice meatball. If you're feeling like I want more heat, reach the arms out. Maybe sit a little deeper, lift the chest. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Find the breath. And then refold forward. So press into the heels. Lengthen out the backs of the legs. And then fold over the legs. Tuck the chin. Let the back of the neck go. Spread the toes. And then once more, bend the knees. Find chair pose once again. So just take your time, start with your foundations, and then rise up. You might imagine you've got something between your knees. I often like to think of something like Donald Trump's head or something, and I'm like squashing it between my knees. This might be censored at some point, so you can imagine, I might beep it out or something. You can imagine whatever you want between your knees or your thighs and just hug them towards each other. Nice. Say hi to your bum cheeks and then press into the feet and then come all the way up to standing. Release the arms. Maybe take a little shake. Nice. Now from here we'll take a little bit of movement and integrate that with the breath. So I'm just going to give you a slow-mo demo of what we're going to do. I'm going to keep my feet hip-width distance apart. And you're going to use your arms with your breath. So we're going to split the inhalation into 3 parts. So you're going to inhale first with the arms out in front. And then you're going to take the arms out to the side. And then you're going to swing the arms all the way over the top of your head. So that's the top of your inhale. And then as you exhale, you'll bend the knees and then let the arms swing out. Let the head relax, neck relax, until you reach the bottom of your exhale. And then you're going to begin inhaling again. So I'm just going to give you a demo, a couple of rounds as to what it's going to look like. Something like this. Okay, and then we'll end the exhale folding forwards. So 3-part inhale through the nose, if it's possible. 1-part exhale through the mouth and just let it all go. Okay, so this is a great one if you're a bit stressed or you just want a little reset. So just begin when you're ready. You can join me. Couple more. One more round. And then just stay hanging forward. And just let the head go, the arms go. Just breathe as normal. And maybe there's energy that you feel, the movement of energy through the body. It's not uncommon. You're welcome to keep the knees bent. If you're feeling a little bit warmer in the backs of the legs, you might just start to press into the heels, straighten out the backs of the legs. And inhale, lift the chest, look up. Exhale, walk back into down dog. So spread the fingers, hug the hands towards each other. Find your way back, check in with this down dog, just see how it feels. And then inhale high onto your tiptoes, keep reaching your bum up and back. And then exhale forward to plank pose. And you can bring the knees to the floor if you're feeling like a little milder plank, that's a-okay. Or if you're feeling you want a bit more spice, then lift the knees up. And then see if you can draw the front of the pelvis up. Lift the back of the head, so lift the ears. Maybe you're gazing forward just in front of the mat. Press into the heels of the hands, spread the fingers. Nice, and then lower everything down to the floor. And you're going to interlace fingers behind your back once again. Press the tops of the feet into the floor. Remember, you can always use a strap between your hands here if your shoulders are feeling a bit restricted. Roll the shoulders back and then press the knuckles back behind you and peel up for locust pose. So front of the pelvis presses down, squeeze the shoulder blades together, rinse out, and then release, lower everything to the floor, pushing back to down dog when you're ready. Taking your time, just reminding yourself there's no rush. From down dog, take a breath. And then inhale, slowly lift the right leg up into the air. Spread the toes of the right foot. Exhale, bring the right knee towards your nose, shoulders over the wrists. And then step that right foot forwards. Coming up into high lunge now, so front knee over front ankle. Press the back heel back behind you. But imagine you're squeezing your blueberry between your inner thighs or crushing something, I don't know. Press into the feet, rise up. And take cactus arms, bending the elbows out to the sides. From here, inhale, draw the elbows back. Exhale, bring the elbows together. The little fingers touch, palms face towards you. Maybe you can lift the elbows up a little bit. Couple more of those. Inhale, open up. And exhale, closing in. You can always bring the back knee to the floor if you need to. One more of these. Inhaling, opening up. And exhaling. Bring the elbows together. Nice. Release. Hands come down to the floor. And then bring your right hand to your right hip and use your right elbow as a lever. Draw it up towards the ceiling. So now we're moving into a twist. Turning the chest to the right. Keep squeezing your blueberry together between your inner thighs. If it feels okay for your shoulders, maybe that right arm can reach up into the air. Maybe it falls back a little bit. Head can turn any direction. And then release that, hand to the floor. Option to just go back to down dog or go via plank all the way down to the floor. Interlacing fingers behind you. Peeling up into your locust pose. And then back to down dog. Taking your time. Find your breath. Reset. Then inhale, left leg reaches up into the air, spread the toes. Exhale, left knee towards your nose. So shoulders come forward around the upper back. And then step that left foot forward. Prepare for high lunge. So set the foundations, no rush here. Come on up. Elbows reach out like goalposts. Deep inhale. And exhale. Closing in. So legs are strong. Remember, back knee can always come down to the floor. Inhale, open up. So just breathe and move at your own pace. One more of these. At the end of your exhale, release hands to the floor. And then left hand comes to left hip. Then use that left elbow like a lever. Open up for your twist. Maybe you stay here, that's plenty. Or perhaps reach the left arm up into the air. See if you can imagine space through the left side body. So left hip rolls down. Head can turn any direction. Find your breath. And then release out of that. Option to get back to down dog however you like. So if you want to flow, you can flow. Keep headbutting the box here, so bear with me. Ooh. Option to take locust. And then back to down dog. Finding your breath in down dog. Spread fingers, spread toes. And from down dog, inhale high onto your tiptoes. Exhale forward to plank. And then just take your right hand a little bit forward of the left. And then roll the inner elbow forward. It's going to look different for everybody, so I'm just going to demo that for you. So what you're trying to do is wrap the upper arm around. So you're going to get more support through that right shoulder. And from here, just turn the toes to the left. Maybe you stay here, you can come up onto your left fingertips or rise up. Different variation of side plank. Option to let that top arm reach up and over towards the front of your mat. So taking a side stretch here. And then swapping sides, left hand comes down. Plank pose. Left hand, just a couple of steps forward, fingertips forward. Turning toes to the right. And then keep the hips lifted. Option to keep those right fingertips on the floor. So you're wrapping the arm around. So inner elbow is almost trying to show towards the front of the room. And then maybe rise up. Side plank. Keep the hips lifted. Stay with your breath. And then release back to plank pose. Option to just take it back to down dog or go through your flow, lowering to the floor, interlacing fingers behind you, rising up for locust, and then taking it back to down dog in your own time. Breath in down dog. Hopefully you're feeling warmer. From down dog, bend the knees, look forwards. You can walk or step or jump forwards. From here, inhale, lift the chest and look up. Exhale and fold forwards. Bend the knees. chair pose. Rise up. From chair pose, take a breath. Then press into the feet. Come all the way up. Releasing the arms, take a breath or two. Feeling warmer? I hope so. So you're going to step back with the right foot. You can take the hands to the hips for this one. You're going to bring your right heel down to the floor, and you can keep both legs straight for now. That might be a little easier in terms of your alignment. So spread the toes out nice and wide and see if you can feel the four corners of your feet. So both feet, base of the big toes, base of the little toes, either side of your heel, inner and outer. And from here, see how it feels to bend that front knee. So you might need to take more space between your feet. We're coming towards warrior one pose. And you're welcome to keep your hands on your hips or interlace fingers behind you, once again. And then just notice if you habitually interlace fingers in the same way. If you do, then just swap the grip, so other finger on top. Press the knuckles down, roll the shoulders back, lift the chest, deep inhale. And exhale, come forward. Maybe rest on your front thigh. You can tuck the chin here. And then the arms might come up and over a little. If you've got more space, shift your upper body to the right and then just keep sliding down the inside of that left leg. You can tuck the chin. And just like you did in your chair pose, imagine that inner left thigh is trying to hug towards your left rib cage. So you're hugging yourself with that front leg. Back foot firmly on the ground. From here, you're going to use your arms to inhale and come all the way up. Ooh, release the arms, take them up into the air. Straighten the front leg. Hands to hips. Turn the back toes forward and then re-bend the front knee and then step forwards. Nice. Swapping sides, left foot steps back. So take your time to set yourself up. Spread the toes. And then start to bend that right knee over the right ankle. So it doesn't have to be a crazy dramatic bend. Just make sure you feel solid, secure. It's totally okay for your upper body to turn a bit to the left. In fact, I often encourage that rather than cranking that left hip to face forward. So just give yourself room. Press into the back foot, interlace the fingers behind you, then reach the knuckles down, lift the chest, roll the shoulders back, and then lean it forward. Maybe rest on that front thigh, maybe shift the weight to the left, and keep sliding down the inside of that right leg. So my right bum cheek wants to really move out to the right, but see if you can do the opposite. Hug in, hug yourself. Let the head go. Find your breath. And then from here, press into your front foot particularly, and then slowly come on up. Find warrior one, reach the arms up. Straighten the front leg. Hands to hips. No rush, take your time. Back toes turn forward, front knee bends, and then step forwards. Take a breath at the top, release the arms. And then you're going to step out again, hands to hips, bend the knees. Let's step to the left and then turn the toes in, so feet somewhat parallel. Hands can stay on the hips or you can interlace fingers behind you once again. Press the knuckles down, lift the chest. And then as you exhale, folding forward, wide-legged forward fold. So letting the back of the neck go. And then from here, if your fingers are interlaced, gently release them down and then slowly walk your hands forwards. So it's like you're taking a really wide downward facing dog pose. Reconnect with the four corners of your feet. Then take your left hand over to your right leg, somewhere on the right leg. So some of you might be able to reach for the heel. Or if that's feeling challenging, just grab somewhere higher on the leg. You can even grab towards the thigh, up to you. So your right hand's going to stay on the floor. I like to make those cupcake spider hands here just to give myself a grip. And then I'm going to bend my left elbow. So it's like I'm trying to pull the legs towards each other, or pull the right leg towards the left leg. And here I'm looking for a stretch around my left shoulder blade, something like that. You want to let the head go, and you're going to twist and kind of maybe gaze somewhere up towards the ceiling. So neck is long. Find the breath here. So leg is resisting, right leg is resisting the left hand. Hopefully it's a nice stretch here. And then release that, swap sides. So left hand reaches forward, right hand grabs somewhere on the left leg. So opposite hand to opposite leg, bend that right elbow, resist it with the leg. And sometimes it can be a bit sweeter. You might be able to get into those really tight spots by rounding the spine a little bit like an angry cat. So that might help you access some of the tight spots around the upper back, shoulders. Try and let the head go. Last breath here. Strong legs. Nice. Gently release that. Both hands, reach out, gaze out. And then walk the hands so they're underneath the shoulders. You can bend the knees a little. And then heel and toe the feet towards each other. Come into a squat, so feet come together. Lower the bum down. And then open up the knees wide. And then you can walk the hands forward if that's accessible. And then just like you did earlier, hug yourself. So use your knees to hug in. And then if that's feeling pretty stable, you can once again take opposite hand to opposite leg. And then imagine you're trying to pull your legs towards each other. And maybe you can nestle in a little deeper. It's a bit terrifying, but see how it goes. Essentially, you just want to feel a broadness around the back body. A couple more breaths here. And then release that. Lower the bum down to the floor and let the legs come out in front of you. So parallel the feet, spread out the toes, and then point the fingers towards your bum and take the hands back a little bit. Elbows are bending to face back behind you. And then once again, recenter. Imagine you're taking down dog through your hands and feet. So press evenly into the ground. And we'll come into reverse tabletop. So just press into the hands and the feet. Try not to worry about needing to lift up. Instead, press down. And then see if that helps you to lift up. See what happens. So your knees are magnetizing towards each other. Crush them once again. For me, tucking my chin and gazing forward feels quite comfortable, but some of you might prefer to gaze up or let the head go. But just take care of your neck. Press a little more strongly into your hands. And then gently lower yourself back to earth. Take a breath or two. And then option is to repeat that again, or we're going to add a little bit more to that. So press into hands and feet. Just come up when you're ready. Press down in order to rise up. And then option is to walk the feet forward. Maybe the feet can touch. Maybe just wiggle the toes, straightening the legs, quite a lot more challenging. So always know that you can come back to the previous position, strongly press into the hands and feet. And then once again, come back down to earth, bum to the floor. Ooh, relax the belly, reach the arms out, and then lower yourself back down to earth. Arms by your sides, walk your feet closer towards your bum. And if you've got a mat, you might just want to grab the edges of the mat here. We're going to go for bridge pose. So spread the toes, press the feet into the floor, and grab hold of your mat. If you don't have a mat, don't worry, just have arms by your side. And as you press into the feet, gently roll up into bridge pose. Once again, hugging the knees towards each other. If you've got hold of the mat, really tug on it. And you might be able to gently wrap the shoulders underneath you. So neck is free. So chin isn't right against the chest. It's like you've got a little orange there. See how that goes. And you're welcome to stay up in bridge pose, or feel free to roll up and down. We'll take a couple more breaths here. And then gently release the shoulders, lower yourself back down to the floor, relax the belly, widen the feet, bring the knees to touch. You might just rest hands on your belly, take a couple of breaths. Nice. Option to take bridge pose again, or if you've got a familiar wheel practice, you're welcome to take wheel. So if you're going into bridge or wheel, set up the feet, hip width distance. Nice. So from here, option to grab your mat or just release arms by your sides. Rolling up to bridge, and those of you going for wheel, you might set the hands up either side of your ears, spreading fingers, and just like you hug your knees towards each other, hug your elbows towards each other. So avoid kind of collapsing through the elbows, hug them in. And then maybe you come up resting the top of the head on the floor, just taking your time here. Keep hugging the elbows towards each other. Press into the feet as well as the hands. Nice. So make sure that your practice feels accessible for you, feels open. And then gently release down. Tucking the chin if you're coming down from wheel. Rolling down from bridge. And this time just bring the soles of the feet together. Relax your belly. A couple of breaths. So just let the dust settle. So often we can get stuck in areas of the body that are quite sensitive. Naturally, for most of us, the upper body carries a lot of emotional stuff around the heart, around the chest. And usually that's connected to the vital organs of the body. So it's natural that we might be a bit more defensive or protective in this region. So it's really nice to just take some time to work in this area, to try and create space for opening, to get some heat, some circulation in that region. It's always a good idea. But equally to make sure that we feel safe and we're not overexerting ourselves, so we can create heat in a sustainable way. So from here, just take the hands to the legs, lift them up towards each other, bring the knees up towards your chest, hug yourself. And then we'll just take happy baby. So from here you can keep the knees in and just release the low legs. Reach up, you can grab your feet, you can grab your ankles, you can grab lower down on the legs, whatever's most accessible here. And then press the head and the tailbone towards the ground. See if you can feel as much as of your back on the floor as possible. So connecting, spreading, broadening. Just dropping in. You're welcome to stay here if this feels good, or maybe transition towards nappy pose. So bringing the heels towards the back of the legs, I'm going to swap the grip just to take hold at the top of my ankles, and then just let the knees drop out to the sides. This can be a really nice stretch, a nice grounding sensation for the low back. opening through the groin. Just let the legs be heavy here. And then gently draw the knees back up towards your chest. You can hug the knees, maybe move the knees around if that feels nice. Feels nice for most people, I think, just taking a little massage, rolling around, soothing yourself, hugging yourself, supporting yourself. So support can look different for us depending on the day, depending on the period of time we're in, what's going on in our worlds, what's going on in the world. So it's really important that we try and tune in to listen to what's feeling good for us right now, and also appreciate the charge and the heat that we can make even with the smallest thing. For example, using the breath, or taking a little bit of movement in your day, or just making a particular decision that propels you forward somehow. Sounds a bit ambiguous, but I think you know what I mean. Like bringing the knees towards the chest, keep them there, so you draw the knees close and just let the arms hang out by your sides. And then from here, just drop the knees over to the left. And if the knees don't come all the way down to the floor, don't worry about it. You can always put a pillow or whatever, a blanket underneath your knees. If the knees do drop down to the sides, then see if you can make the back of the right shoulder heavy. Head can turn any direction, no big deal. And you might stay here. If it's accessible, you can take that right foot towards the left hand. Maybe you can hold the foot in your hand, or you can always take a strap, a scarf, press the foot into the hand so that you're taking that right hip down and away from you. And then see if you can turn the chest up towards the ceiling. So belly button trying to turn up. Take a couple of breaths there. And then release the foot if you've got hold of it. And bringing knees back up to center. Dropping them over to the other side. Just reminding yourself that you've got choices here. You don't have to overexert yourself in order to charge up. You can just hang out here in this twist. This is plenty. This is enough. If you do, however, feel like it, just take that left foot into the right hand, press the foot into the hand, and then drop the back of that left shoulder towards the ground behind you. And then explore turning the chest, turning the belly button up towards the ceiling, gently easing that left hip down and away from you. So you're creating length, space, opening. Just making sure that that's sustainable, making sure that you're still tuning in, listening to what you need, not pushing, not forcing, but just breathing. Releasing that left foot if you've got hold of it. Inhale, bring the knees back up to center. Hug yourself once again. Can't get enough of those warm hugs. And maybe that's your practice, especially if that feels weird or challenging to do. Hug yourself a little tighter. Relax the belly. And then when it feels good to you, just release the knees, release the legs, stretch yourself out, take up space, coming into your resting pose. Dropping into the support once again, so the back of the body resting on the floor. Soften the muscles around your face, the jaw, lips, tongue. Smooth out the eyelids, smooth out the forehead, the scalp. So it's totally fine to feel vulnerable or to naturally feel protective around this region. But it's equally as nice to give yourself some safe space, to make some time for yourself, to hold space for yourself, especially if you don't have a lot of time in your daily life. Just to find some movement or some nurturing, just to take care of your physical, your emotional, your psychological, your spiritual needs, whatever they may be. So holding space for yourself is really powerful for that. You don't have to move around. You just have to show up. So now just rest one hand on the chest, one hand on the belly. Take a deep inhale. Fill up belly. Fill up chest. And as you exhale, exhale first from the belly, then from the chest. So a couple more cycles of that on your own. 2-part breathing into the belly and into the chest. Exhaling belly, exhaling chest. Just reconnecting upper body with lower body. And then from here release, wiggle the fingers and toes. Bend the knees one by one. Hug the knees in. Hug yourself. Roll onto one side. And gently come on up. Take your time. Just take a moment to tune in, just to notice how you feel. And then bring your palms together at your chest. This can symbolize whatever you want it to. But often I like to think of it as all sides of ourselves coming together in this moment. And may it just remind you that you're enough. It's all enough. And to show up for yourself whenever you can, even if it's just finding time to breathe. Rub the hands together. Create a little bit more heat. And then gently cup the hands over your eyes. Relax the belly. And then release. I hope you feel warmer. I hope you feel more connected and more fluid in the shoulders. Let me know how you go. Thanks for practicing with me. Bye.